NBC15 News, the morning show starts now.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday. Today is September 6th. I'm Caroline Peterson. We're going to check right away with meteorologist James Parrish first for how today is shaping up this holiday weekend.
It's a soggy start to our Sunday, that's for sure, Caroline.
The Badger State is gearing up for a busy day of politics tomorrow as both vice presidential candidates are set to make appearances here. Democratic Vice President nominee Kamala Harris is scheduled to visit Milwaukee in what will be her first campaign stop in Wisconsin. Vice President Mike Pence will also be in Wisconsin tomorrow as he's expected to give remarks in La Crosse to discuss America's workforce. This will already be the vice president's fifth stop in Wisconsin this year. And on Tuesday, Dr. Jill Biden, wife of Democratic candidate Joe Biden, will participate in a virtual event in Green Bay. The event is part of her back-to-school tour. The campaign released a statement saying Jill Biden would, quote, virtually travel to Green Bay, but so far no other details have been given about that event. Calls for justice for Breonna Taylor continued to ring across the nation yesterday. The 26-year-old was shot and killed by Louisville police in her home over 5 months ago. Yesterday, protesters as well as counter-protesters marched at the Minnesota State Capitol. There was also a moment of silence and a prayer for all people killed by police. And in Louisville, the site of the incident, dueling protesters clashed after a pro-Second Amendment and pro-police rally took place at a park. The group then marched downtown where they came in contact with protesters demanding justice for Breonna Taylor. Police were present at the tense exchanges, at one point forming a barrier to separate the two groups. But all indications suggest the standoff did not escalate any further. And unrest across the nation persists. Last night in Portland, hundreds of people turned out for rallies and marches marking the city's 100th night of protests. Demonstrations continued late into the night and was quickly declared a riot by Portland police when Molotov cocktails were thrown repeatedly, leading police to deploy tear gas and pepper balls to push people from the area. Reports say multiple arrests were made. In Washington, D.C. yesterday, a group of several protesters went face-to-face with police officers outside the city's police station. This was a scene as demonstrators protested the fatal police shooting of 18-year-old Deon Kay. As you can see, some tense moments as officers pushed back the line of protesters from the station. Earlier in the evening, more people gathered for a vigil to honor Kay. Protesters gathered for a fourth straight night in Rochester, New York over the death of Daniel Prude. Prude, a black man, was detained by Rochester police in March. The 41-year-old died after a split hood was put over his head during the encounter. His death was ruled a homicide. Activists have marched nightly in the city since police body camera footage of the incident was released by his family. Yesterday marked the first 5K organized by Black Umbrella Global, a Madison area organization that brings together activists to help people in need and advocates for greater equality for communities of color. Yesterday's goal was to support local businesses and raise money to help Black Umbrella continue their activism. Organizers say they hope events like this can help build understanding between different groups across Madison and be another step towards racial equality.
Part of what makes people understand people that don't look like them, act like them more is the idea of community.
Black Umbrella will be continuing the theme of unity all through the weekend. You can check out the details right now on our website, NBC15.com. It's now time for some weather looking like a soggy Sunday.
It is going to be a soggy Sunday morning, that's for sure. So as soon as you step outside this morning, make sure to have your rain gear handy.
Calling All Community Heroes Design for a Difference, a national program working to make over spaces at local charities, is launching a huge new contest. Right now, you can nominate your favorite community hero for a chance to win free flooring and design advice, which is valued at up to $10,000.
Anyone in your community that has stood up and stood out during these challenging times. It could be a frontline worker, a healthcare worker, a teacher, anyone in your community who has taken it upon themselves to do something to make a difference.
Floor 360 in Madison is a longtime sponsor of the program, and NBC15 is also a proud media sponsor. We have information on how to submit a nomination right now at NBC15.com. The deadline is September 7th. That is tomorrow. Take a Hike for Hunger Action Month. The next Rising Stars of Second Harvest is asking people to get outdoors to help put food on the table for those who need it. Here's how it works. You can go on a hike at your favorite spot, post a picture, and be sure to use the hashtag Hike for Hunger. Raise or donate $25 and you'll get a free t-shirt.
The ultimate goal for this event is to raise roughly $2,500 or 7,500 meals for families in need, and we hope to do that by promoting people to get out and contribute to a healthy lifestyle.
A bike team known as the Lymphomaniacs is sending more than $100,000 to blood cancer research. The team canceled its July ride over coronavirus concerns, but the group decided to make it up yesterday with a smaller fundraiser. More than 50 cyclists joined the ride near Lake Farm County Park, wearing their signature blood drop helmet toppers. All the money raised is going to support the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
When you think about the sacrifices that people have gone through and those that aren't with us today because of blood cancer, it really is a motivator to get us out there to move. And we know too from our teammates that have survived cancer, we make a difference.
All money raised will go to support the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Next on the morning show, the real message behind those clever Wisconsin DOT highway signs. The DOT says over Labor Day weekend in our state last year, there were almost 900 crashes, 5 of them fatal. NBC15's Michelle Beck shares how one man is sending reminders to slow down. Next on the morning show, one strategy to fight COVID-19 under the microscope, what experts have to say about herd immunity. Herd immunity, according to the White House officials, the strategy meant to fight COVID-19 is under the microscope. NBC15's Michelle Beck explains the concept and what health experts have to say about it. President Trump's longtime lawyer Michael Cohen's new book, Disloyal, the true story of the former personal attorney to President Donald J. Trump, describes an account of Trump's alleged role in a hush money scandal that once overshadowed his presidency. The White House calls the book fan fiction. It's scheduled to be released on Tuesday. A federal judge is stepping in to make sure U.S. Census field operations continue as usual for now. The temporary restraining order from a California judge applies nationwide. It's in response to Trump administration efforts to wind down the population count early. Attorneys for the government say it was only happening in areas where the census was largely complete. The restraining order is in place until a hearing September 17th. Hopes for a miracle appeared to come to an end yesterday in Beirut, Lebanon, where rescuers say they found no signs of life in the rubble of last month's massive explosion that devastated the city. This followed a 3-day search for survivors in a spot where sensors detected signs of breathing and heat on Thursday. Still finding anyone alive more than a month after the explosion was unlikely. The search group said they will keep clearing the site and look for remains, but no one is alive.
Critically, today we can say that there is no life inside of the building.
The August 4th blast killed about 190 people, injured 6,000 more, and devastated whole neighborhoods in Beirut. Family and friends paid their respects to Sergeant Elder Fernandez in Massachusetts yesterday, the 23-year-old who was stationed at Fort Hood, Texas. Fernandez went missing for more than a week before he was found hanging from a tree about 30 miles from the military base. Family members are demanding answers about his death and disappearance. The U.S. Army says it is launching an investigation at Fort Hood following a series of incidents, including Fernandez's death. It's 6:23 this morning. We're looking at a live, very wet look at the Capitol this morning. We'll be back with your forecast in just a bit. Let's take you to Melk, Australia, where we're going to show you something you should definitely not try at home. Wearing nothing but swim trunks, extreme athlete Joseph Cobrell broke his own world record yesterday, spending more than 2.5 hours submerged in over 440 pounds of ice. After breaking his record by over 20 minutes, Cobrell said he was happy to feel the sun on his back. He recovered from his ice bath by eating an ice cream cone. You gotta love it, James. That is definitely an interesting way to recover with a little bit more chill.
I will tell you what, I would have went for the hot chocolate, and I'm going to tell you what, too. He can have that record. I am not going to go for it.
You know what? I agree. I don't know how you even get, I wonder how you get into breaking these records in the first place. I mean, that's a very interesting concept.
I guess who would wonder, like, hey, I'm going to spend 2.5 hours in an ice bath. That sounds fun.
How do you
I don't
prep
know.
for that? I don't know. Well, we'll be
I don't know
back.
how you train for that either.
Well, we'll be back next here at 6:30 with a much warmer forecast than that guy's ice bath.